apologize to the victims? Would you like to do so now? Well, they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
Why we invested so much in you doing screening efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
In 2024, Mark Zuckerberg holds an interesting place in the culture. There are the weird conspiracy theories about him potentially being an alien sent to destroy the world, him challenging fellow tech CEO Elon Musk to jiu-jitsu fights, and his overall robotic-like demeanor where he seems to have no emotion about practically anything. However, 20 years ago, he did have emotion, lots of emotion, and that emotion led him to becoming the influential person he is today. On February 4th, 2004, Zuckerberg launched a website called The Facebook. The company's name eventually would be changed to just Facebook, as Sean Parker says in the Social Networth, it's cleaner. And Zuckerberg would eventually take the website and become the youngest billionaire in history, cementing himself as one of the faces of the Web 2 era. But the question I have is, was this an overall good thing? Now, of course, social media has changed the way that we communicate and transformed the way that people connect from across the world. However, it has also had a significant negative impact on an entire generation of people, particularly my generation, Gen Z. Zuckerberg's investment in technology and his need to always be at the forefront of all these innovations has been very interesting to look at, and he's created some incredible things, but it's hard to look past the negative effects that his inventions and his need for constant growth and the ability to make money has had on the culture at large. Although he looks timid and weak, Zuckerberg is one of the most ruthless and arrogant people in the tech world, something demonstrated very well by Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of the Facebook CEO in the 2010 film, The Social Networth.
You really don't need a forensics team to get to the bottom of this. If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
Despite all the obvious success Facebook had early on, Zuckerberg knew that the system needed to evolve and that there would always be competitors in the market for him to fight with. In order to take away some of his competitors, Zuckerberg purchased two major social communication platforms, Instagram and WhatsApp. He formed what was called a family of companies. And there is a note in Facebook's company privacy policies from 2015 when both deals were completed that is a little ominous and tells you a lot about what Zuckerberg's plan was for these companies. Quote, "We may share information about you within our family of companies to facilitate, support, and integrate their activities and improve our services." Think about that for a second. Facilitate, improve our services. How is learning more about my personal information and actively data mining its users necessarily improving our services? Does it create an easier user base? Maybe. But is it a great idea that Zuckerberg is looking for all this user engagement without focusing on the safety and the privacy of its users? Social media is social by definition. That's a fair statement. However, I think that there's a bit that he's not getting, and that having all of your information and your privacy broken and having everything available to the public doesn't necessarily create the community and the culture that Zuckerberg intends with Facebook. And there's a podcast clip I want to play from Jason Calacanis and Katerina Fake, where they talk about this negative engagement and what it actually means for Facebook and means for its users.
Engagement and at all costs. Mm-hmm. It feels like that engagement at all costs is the opposite of building a community.
It is the opposite of a community,
yeah.
Right? Because you kind of, in a community, you're there because you want to be there, right? You're there because you like the people that are there. You're there in order to connect with people.
No one can argue that social media has not influenced Gen Z culture. I can remember vividly that first time I downloaded Instagram, made a profile. It was Star Wars 070703, by the way, and started following my friends and having them follow me back. It felt so freeing and it felt like you were entering a new world. And that was what Zuckerberg wanted to create when he initially designed Facebook. He wanted people to be able to live online and have a personality online and share a part of themselves with people that they might not be able to share. But that has come at a significant cost. That clip I played in the beginning of the video is Zuckerberg apologizing to families of victims who have suffered mental health struggles and maybe even verbal abuse and harassment on Instagram. And Zuckerberg has very openly not done anything to really combat that. He claims that he's taken measures to remove hate speech, but at the end of the day, people will find ways to comment whatever they want to comment. And there's not that many places to hide on Instagram or on Facebook. So when we look back at Mark Zuckerberg's legacy, he has changed the world, no doubt, maybe more than any figure in the 21st century. Facebook has influenced elections. It's changed the way that people dress, do their hair, think about themselves. It's even changed the way that people just choose to live their day-to-day lives. But is that the community that we want to create? Is that the way that we want to live in the world? I'm not sure. And I don't think you should be so sure either.